Hello, my name is Nicholas. I'm 13 years old and I'm in 7th grade. Today we're going to talk about salvation. To understand salvation, we need one very important verse, John 3:16. For God so loved the world, they gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Now, to understand this verse, we had to break it down some. So, let me circle some words that are important. For God so loved the world. That's the sinners, the unbelievers, the thieves, the liars, anything that you've done wrong in your life. That is sin. Now, that he gave his one and only Son. Now that's like your only or your favorite stuffed animal when you were a kid. Like, and if you ever lost that, that's like times that by 50, and that's like your only son. That whoever believes in him believes, which is knowing in your heart that he is real, that he died on the cross for us, that shall not perish. Which, let's say, is this spikes? Oh, it's so scary. Don't test it. We'll have eternal life, which is heaven. Okay, now, I have this diagram over here, so I can draw. Don't judge. Also, no. The world, they gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes, believing is pretty much a solidification of this little cross. Like I said, don't judge. That whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. This makes a bridge to heaven and blocks this place down here. Okay, but let's say there's two paths. There's a carpeted path that's very comfortable, it's wide, most of your friends are there. Then there's this rocky, narrow path with cliffs on either side that's very dangerous. Well, the comfortable path it will lead you to a bad place called hell. Then the other rocky path will lead you to heaven. Now, these two paths do intersect a lot of times, but there's places where you can switch from different paths. Now, Satan will tempt you to go from the rocky path to the comfortable path all the time. But he'll tempt you in different ways, like he'll let your sister die, or he'll make your siblings or someone that's very important to you leave. He'll make your friend go to a different city, he'll make your friends go out and party and do bad stuff. Now, he'll tempt you in these ways to take you to the comfortable path, and that's something you don't want to do. Now, he's really good at tempting. In Genesis 3:1-6, he said to Eve, did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? The woman said to the serpent, we may eat from the trees in the garden, but God did say you must not eat fruit from the trees that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it or you will die. And you will certainly die. You will not certainly die, the serpent said to the woman. For God knows that when you eat it, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. When the woman saw the fruit of the tree that was good for food, and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. Now, that was an example of how Satan tempted Eve and Adam to eat the fruit. Now, if you aren't a believer, you might be wondering, okay, if this magnificent God is so good, then why is there so much evil in the world? Why would he let that in the world? In Genesis 2:16-17, God clearly states, you are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat from it, you will certainly die. He said this. He warned Adam and Eve. But in Genesis 3:1-6, like I just read, they ate the apple, and they let sin in our world. Now, if you don't know Christ today, it's really simple to believe in him. It's ABC. A, admit that you're a sinner and ask God's forgiveness. Romans 10:13 says, everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. B, believe in Jesus and become a child of God by receiving Christ. John 1:12 says, to all who receive him, to those who believe in his name, He gave the right to become his children. C. Confess that Jesus is your Lord. Romans 10:9 says, if you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. That's all.